Hi folks, welcome back to the Now Morning Show. And we're really so happy to have our next guest. It's a very sensitive topic, and it's one that, I think it's been really very prolific now during COVID, where relationships are being tested. So with us today we have, we're talking about the Trinidad shelter being a safe place. We've got the chairman of the shelter, Mr. Scott Hamilton, with us. And also we have Letitia, who has taken some time off from work. Well, she is at work actually, but her job has really allowed her to take a little time. She was a resident at the shelter, and she stayed with her abuser for 15 years with 3 children. And we really wanted to hear her story. So, Letitia, are you there? Hello, Letitia. Okay, so we'll talk with Mr. Hamilton, Scott Hamilton, who is the chairman of the shelter. Mr. Hamilton, can you give us a little background about the shelter?
Sure, no problem. And welcome, Letitia and Natasha, for having us on.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, well, the shelter was actually started through Miss Diana Mahabir Wyatt.
Yes.
Back in 1987. And over the last 30 years, I can tell you that we probably had around 2,077 women and children come through the shelter.
Wow. Have you seen a spike since the pandemic?
Well, from what we have seen in the news and through the gender-based violence unit, yes, there has been a spike. We have not, because we have been closed for renovations during the pandemic. Yes, the spike has, and you can understand why it's taken place.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who are very frustrated, not only because of the pandemic, but losing jobs, etc., income, prices worldwide are going up. So the spike is there, and we as a community need to reach out and continue to assist and help these women and children.
Well, Mr. Hamilton, you just said the facility is closed for renovations. How are these families being accommodated now?
Well, the shelter is just one of the safe houses throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So the women will have been placed in these various locations until we reopen.
Okay. And how many residents can you accommodate in the shelter?
Approximately 21. But again, we have to look at our COVID protocols, also what's laid down by the Ministry of Social Development, etc. So because most of the rooms are for a number of families, it all depends on what they tell us.
Okay.
But we can hold up to 21.
21 people. And what is the procedure for being accommodated at the shelter?
Well, the first thing we ask all victims is to call 800-SAVE and the TTPS to make the report. Making the report is very critical. And then from there, once all the information is gathered by 800-SAVE and the TTPS, they then call the shelter to find out if we have space available. And from there, they are brought up to the shelter.
Okay. I think Letitia should be on by now. Letitia, are you there? Letitia she was a resident at the shelter, and she's been very brave in coming forward to speak about her experience at the shelter. So we're really looking forward to catching up with her. She stayed with her.
Hello.
Hi, Letitia. We're just talking about you. So, you stayed with your abuser for 15 years before you entered the shelter. I was wondering, what was the breaking point for you to decide enough is enough and not become a statistic, but become a survivor? Okay, so she's still having a little problem. She's, as I told you, she's at work right now, and she was taking some time off from work. So let's go back to Mr. Hamilton and talk a little bit about, when a person arrives at the shelter. Oh, Letitia, you're there. Hello? Okay, we're still having a little problem with the audio. So we'll work on that. But in the meanwhile, let's go back to Mr. Hamilton, who will tell us a little bit about the protocols when you arrive at the shelter. What is the protocol from there?
Oh, well, the first thing, again, due to the pandemic, we have our sanitizing station. The women and children are then placed in the waiting area, where the mother then sits down with the matron or resident caregivers who are present at the time.
Morning.
And we,
House of Chance. Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
and then they fill out the proper reports and so on, take all the and create a file for the resident,
Mm-hmm.
and then we find out all the things about them, what they like to eat, if there are any allergies, especially for the children, etc. Because we have to be very careful. We have to make sure everyone is properly taken care of. If they need medical assistance, that is the first thing we get done for them.
And that's another point, that the families include the children. The woman comes in with her kids. We saw Letitia a little while ago, and I'm still looking forward to catching up with you. Letitia, are you there? Okay, so I think when I looked, she was trying to find a little spot where she could actually connect with us. I guess the Wi-Fi is probably giving a little trouble. She thought it was a phone call. Okay, so Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
what other services are available? You said that you accommodate these families, the woman and her children. You look out for what they're going to eat. What other services do you to provide for your residents?
But as they come in, we provide medical care. We do therapeutic counseling. We also do placement of children into a school close or within the location of the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
We do skill set training, which is very important. We do support them with legal aid, and also assist through the Ministry of Social Development and the HDC in getting housing.
Okay. What are some of the challenges that you guys face, though?
Our major challenge is funding. As you know, we receive a small subvention from the government, which is about approximately 10% of our needs. So 90% of our funding has to come from corporate and private sponsors and the general public. As you know, Sunday was the International Day of Charity. So we are reaching out to the general public and other corporate entities to continue to support us. And you can do that by donating directly to our bank account at Republic Bank, which I will send the number to you after. And you can also donate through Tego TV and on our website, which is www.trinidadshelter.com. We actually have a donation button, which you can click on and make direct deposits to our account. Anywhere from 10, 20 upwards TT dollars makes a big difference for us.
Okay, so if anyone looking at this program now and they're thinking that, you know what, enough is enough and I need to get out of this situation, and I have 3 children, what are the ages that you can take these children up to, and how can they reach out to you? Just to remind them, how can they get this help that they so need?
Sure. But the first thing is to remind everyone you must make a police report, whether it be directly through 800 SAVE or the TTPS. That's first and foremost. We are allowed to take children, boys, I think it's up to either 10 or 11 years old, and girls up to 17.
Okay. All right. Any last words that you want to share with us?
What's that, sorry?
Any parting words you would like to share with the people of Trinidad and Tobago?
Oh, yes. We as a nation have to continue to support victims of domestic violence. We hear a lot of people say that, oh, they've seen a situation taking place but have done nothing. You need to speak up. We need to work together as a village and support these women and children. find out what are their needs. If you hear something happening, sit down and talk to them. Sometimes they just need an ear, to hear their problems. Let's all work together. We are all in this together. It's one nation. We are just 1.4 million people, yet our domestic violence rates just keep going up and up. And I would like to also reach out to the men out there. These are the mothers of your children. Remember, when you hit a woman, you're also hitting your child. They're seeing that violence. We need to break this cycle.
Break the cycle.
And we can only do that together.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hamilton, Scott Hamilton, Chairman of the shelter. Thank you so much. And I'm really sorry that we couldn't get Letitia on. I know yesterday, speaking with her, that she looks at herself as a true survivor, and she really wanted to let women know that it was important to get the help to break the cycle for your children. That one of the things that she was saying is the fact that, in a relationship, your children are looking at you for cues on how to conduct future relationships, and you really want to save them, because a lot of people stay in relationships are staying for the children, but in fact you can be doing more harm. So reach out if you need help. You have support. Thank you so much to our interviewees, and I wish you guys a beautiful day, and we'll be right back with the Now Morning Show.